Hey, what's up, naughty community? Welcome back to my naughty hobby with Amber for another easy to follow crochet tutorial. So the winning design for today is this one that you've seen kind of all over my page with these half double crochet puff stitches, crossover puff stitches. There might be a technical name for that stitch, but I don't know what it is, and so I just kind of gave it my own name. For this tutorial, I will be using a, let's see here, a 5.5 millimeter hook or an eye, and let's see here. This is the fiber I will be using today. This is Lion Brand Mandala Gradient, and this hat was also made from this same type, only in, I think it was like hot pink or bright pink. There's only a few colors to choose from with these gradients, but I hooked up a kid size one to show you in comparison because it's really easy to alter my hat designs by just changing the number of stitches that we start with. So in an adult sized hat, we start with 12 double crochets, but if you wanted to make one for a kid, you would be starting with 10. See, I've got a few people jumping on. Hi, Alicia. Thanks for throwing down a comment. Would love to hear where you guys are watching from. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amber. I'm broadcasting out of North Dakota. I have been a crocheter for 20 years now, and designing and instructing for the last 10 years. About 10 years. It'll be 10 years in March. Hi, Tana. Hi, Sha. Hi, Roberta. Happy to see some familiar faces jumping on. If I didn't mention, the size of the weight of the fiber we'll be using is a thicker number 4 medium weight, or whatever you're comfortable with. I just think that this works up so well. So let's adjust the camera just a little bit. And if you're not able to stay for the whole tutorial today, I will have it posted on my video later. So let's go ahead and get started with this. We're going to be just doing a standard build-up. So you'll always start with a magic ring. And we're going to chain 2 off of the magic ring. Now into the center, working over both our tail and the loop that we created. If you're making for a child, you will double crochet 10, and if you'd like to make it for an adult, you will do 12. Since I've already done a kid-sized hat in these colors, I'm going to go ahead and do 12. There's 6. There's 10. 11 and 12. Now I like to kind of unwind my tail and just pull your tail to close. and working into the top of your first stitch. We're going to slip stitch and chain 2. Your chain 2 does not count as a stitch. We're going to work 2 double crochets into each of the stitches around. If you started with 10 stitches, you should have 20 at the end of this round. And if you started with 12, you should have 24. Hiya, Lori. My fingers are slowly on the mend. My nails are still so short though. I've been babying them. That's one of the reasons why I haven't posted a lot of videos lately. My nails were so damaged from one of the horrible places here in town. They might be short, but at least they're healing. Aw, Teresa always coming through with the stars. Thank you so much. It's so motivating when I get stars sent to me. So these first couple rounds when working hats are just going to be very just standard, working with these double crochets and getting it to that right size. Again, your stitch count, if you're following along directly with me, should be 24. So go ahead and join with that slip stitch and chain 2. Now you're going to work a double crochet into your first stitch and do an increase into your next. So 2 double crochets into your next stitch. And we will follow that pattern all the way around. Double crochet in the next, 2 in the next. Hi, Jennifer. Jennifer from California says, which hat are you making? The winning vote was this one here. So this is the one that we are working up. And the vote was so close off of my broadcast channel. It was like 46 to 45. I don't have the other one that came super close. It's upstairs in my little crochet nook. Thank you, Jennifer. I thought because I've already made a child size that this would make a cute, like, mommy and me set. Hey, Karen. I'm so happy that you're able to jump on. I can never remember the time difference that you have there. What time is it there right now, Karen? Coming up to the end of our third round here. Since we're working increase rounds, that last stitch should always be an increase. Oops. And we're always going to join in the top of our first stitch made and chain 2. Oh, Faye's got you, Karen. All right, so we are going to be doing 2 more rounds of increases. So double crochet just 1 into your first 2 stitches, and then into the next you'll do 2 double crochets. And if you are new to crochet, one of the little hacks or tips I like to talk about when you're working your increase rounds, at least if you're following one of my patterns, is your increase will always fall into the increase from your previous round. So sometimes I'll get distracted and, not remember if I'm on one of the rounds that has just 1 single double crochet before the increase. If your increase is falling anywhere into any of the stitches that aren't that V, you'll know that you got thrown off somewhere. It also makes it a little easier to spot where you made the mistake instead of maybe having to frog out your entire round. I'm wondering how the video quality is for you guys out there. I keep getting a message saying that I have a slow connection. So I hope it's not being like super glitchy for you. I'm on my Wi-Fi without any littles stealing the bandwidth, and so I would think it would be really good. Shaw saying no problem here. Thank you for your response. So I know at least it's showing up good on some of your guys' end. Hopefully for everybody. It's our last stitch there, and we just have one more round of increases. And we're going to follow that same pattern that we have been. We started, you know, with one and then an increase, two, an increase. Now it is double crochet into the next 3 stitches. Increase in the next. Then we'll follow that same pattern all the way around. Hi, Kelly. Thanks for jumping on today and joining in the conversation. I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. Love spending time with my crochet buddies. What'd you do this time, Karen? Wasn't you? Were you posing in that crochet bathing suit again? Yeah, I'm an advocate that crochet is definitely ASMR. Very, very satisfying to watch. Even more satisfying to do, though. I mean it with my full heart when I tell you guys that I am crochet obsessed and that I love it. Crochet every day, crew. Last little increase here. You started with 10 double crochets. You should have 50 at the end of this round. And if you started with 12, you should have 60. Yay, Karen, I'm so excited to try treats. I don't even know if I'll share with my kids, honestly. All right, go ahead and join with a slip stitch. I split my yarn, that's why I took it out. Go ahead and chain one. Very simple round here. We're just going to do a half double crochet into each of our stitches, going under both loops. So half double crochet, just yarn over, insert your hook and drop that loop, yarn over and pull through all 3. Rosangela, I'm not sure which language she is. That Spanish? I don't know what she's saying. So if somebody knows, please enlighten me. Go ahead and join with a slip stitch in the top of our first stitch made, chain 1, and now we are going to work another round of half double crochets, but instead of going over both of the loops to create some textured ridges, we're going to use the 3rd loop. So the easiest way that I found to work these, if you have trouble finding them, there's a couple different ways. You can either flip your hat inside out, which makes working into those stitches a little bit easier, or as you are positioning, if you go through the stitch, through the back. This first one's always the hardest, so not the greatest example. And then just position your hook all the way down. You're going to catch that third loop. So you'll be able to yarn over, you know, and complete your stitch the same way. So again, here's our third loop. Could always do this way as well. I do kind of a combination when working it. And also kind of even turning your work as you're working the hat can make those third loops pop just a little bit more. But it creates this nice ridge. Hey Linda. Hello from Idaho. 31 degrees at 7 this morning, not ready for winter. Well, it was warmer there. I think it was yesterday. It was on, no, Monday. Monday when I took my boy to get braces in Bismarck. It was 18 degrees. 18. Frost on everything. But we haven't seen any snow yet. Can tell you one thing for sure though is I was a little too ambitious with my heat this morning. For the most part, I keep my house at like 65, but in the morning, I like to turn it up for just a little while my kids are getting ready for school, and I forgot to turn it back down. My house is like 68 degrees, and I feel like I'm burning up. Heather says, love the color. And yes, we are making a hat today. The one that won the popular vote was this one here. It was actually in the photo, this hot, super hot pink one. This was a kid-size version that I did earlier today. Karen, I know it's only a matter of time before it starts here. I think what's worse than the snow, though, is the whole daylight savings. It's getting dark at like 4:30 here. And I'm only probably 20 minutes away from the time zone change, so I feel like we get stiffed on even more sunlight. We're so close to being in Central Time. But we're not. Man, I found that sweet spot with the center pole. I love when that happens. When the yarn doesn't get caught at all. And you can really find a good groove. We will always join with a slip stitch, oops, in the top of our first stitch made, chain one. Now we'll, excuse me, now we'll work another round exactly the same, a half double crochet into the third loop. Karen says, tell me about it. I'm not a winter person. I need lots of sun. Do not ever come to North Dakota in the winter. I really struggle with seasonal depression up here. You know, when it really does get dark at 4 o'clock and doesn't really get light until about 7 in the morning. Ugh, it's hard. Karen, tell me, or you make this look so easy. Well, I've had lots and lots and lots and lots of practice. I've done this dance many times. I've always thought of crochet as like a dance of the fingers. You know, once you learn the steps and the roles that each finger plays, makes it go by a lot quicker. All right, coming up to the end of this round here. Joining the slip stitch in the top of our first stitch made. And this will be the first round of that special half double crochet crossover crossover puff stitch. I don't know if you know the actual name for it. Let me know. I just kind of came up with this though. Go ahead and chain one again. And again, we're going to be working into those third loops. We're going to skip over our first stitch, which is right here, and work a half double crochet. Now we're going to work that puff stitch into the third loop here. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that first or the skip stitch that we made and pull up a loop, yarn over, and you're going to go back into that same space and pull up another loop. A little hard to see on this first one. Yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. It's going to be easier on this one. So again, skip the next stitch and half double crochet into the next. All right, can you see? I'm going to take my hook out to show you. Right here is the loop that we're going to be working with. So you'll yarn over, insert your hook and drop that loop, yarn over, insert your hook again, and drop another loop, yarn over, and complete your stitch. Again, it might be easier if you go in through the back and just put your hook down. But once you get that first loop pulled up, it's really easy to see where you're inserting into and pulling up that second loop. And I found that if you kind of pinch at the base of that stitch, it makes it easier to draw your loop through. So here's how those crossover puff stitches look. And then you will repeat that all the way around, where you skip your next stitch and half double crochet, and then work those half double crochet puff stitches into the stitch that we skipped. Since the hat is growing, I'm going to need to move my camera up just a little bit, or my hook's going to start, my hook will start kind of like hitting it. Karen says, I'm working a 24-hour shift tomorrow, so I will have my crochet with me. 24-hour shift. Oof. Oof. How do you not fall asleep? I think I would struggle to like stay awake. As I get older, I struggle to like stay awake as is after I've only been up for like 12 hours. I like to be in bed and asleep by like 10 p.m. Never used to be like that. Please, really want to be getting your post always. Please send me a friend request so I be your friend. That's not really how pages work, Riley. kind of a sus message. Comment. Feels a little spammy. Oh, Pauline, thanks for stopping in and having something nice to say, and it will be posted on my page later once we're finished. Thanks for hanging out with me. Oh, Lindiana, thank you. I feel like I'm always working towards being live more. There's just always a lot going on. I need to like write out a schedule and stay committed to it. All right, let's go ahead and join with a slip stitch in our first stitch made. Yay. Now this is basically where the repeat starts. So we are going to do working into the third loop of the stitches that we just made. We're going to start with these ridges again. So chain 1 and then working into the third loops, which with these like puff stitches, if you're a little bit confused, this is the stitch here. So you'll yarn over, insert your hook, drop that loop, yarn over and pull through all of them. This one's a little easier to see, but what we're going for is that ridge. So I just use that top loop from the stitch. Again, it might be a little easier for you if you actually flipped the entire hat like inside out and worked your stitches that way. Just as long as we're creating that ridge. Katie says, I'd love to know the name of this stitch. Lovely to be able to watch you stitch. Well, thank you for the compliment. And the stitch that I'm currently working is a half double crochet into the third loops of our previous row. But if you're referring to this one, I don't know what the actual name for it is. I'm just calling it the half double crochet crossover puff. Probably definitely not the name. There's our last stitch here. Join at the top. And now we're going to just basically be repeating what we did up here, which is chain 1, work a half double crochet into those third loops. Actually, for the remainder of the rounds, our stitches will be worked into the third loop. This room was feeling like really hot when I got in here, and now it's feeling like super cozy, and I'm feeling all sleepy. I'm making myself sleepy by watching myself crochet. Since I have my phone, you know, set up right in front of me here. See the color starting to get a little darker. Now we're going to work another round of those like puff stitches. The special stitches. Skip over your first stitch, which always seems to hide for me. But don't actually skip it, because it will throw this one, you know, throw off your puff stitches. Petro frowns. Hi, first time watching you. I'm 48. Did crochet when I was 8 years old. Did a baby dress guided by my grandmother. She instructed me and I had to follow. Baby dress were white and yellow. Mostly couldn't believe an 8-year-old did it. I'm busy to collect as much patterns and styles to start with crocheting again. That's awesome, Petro, and I love to hear that your grandmother taught you. Unfortunately, my grandmother did not teach me. My great-grandmother was a crocheter, and I actually have her old, like, box of notions and buttons and some of her hooks and also some of her crochet work. I didn't, once I, became interested in crochet, my great-grandmother had already passed, and when I was little, I didn't know. I didn't know that I'd grow up to be this awesome crocheter or this crochet-obsessed person. I wish I had known, though. I would love a lesson from my grandma. Taffy's asking, are you skipping one, then going back to the skipped one 2 times? Yeah, let me slow it down for you a little bit, Taffy. So I'm working half double crochets. This is the stitch that we just completed. So we're skipping over this stitch here and into the next one, again in the 3rd loop. You'll half double crochet. Now yarn over. Insert your hook into our skip stitch and drop a loop. Yarn over, insert your hook into that same space and drop another loop. Yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. So again, skip. And then we're going twice. I think traditional, like puff or bobble stitches, tell you to yarn over a total of like yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch a total of 3 times. But I found that that was just taking up way too much fiber. And I wanted to be able to get at least 2 adult size hats per skein if I wanted to. And the last skein where I used that hot pink, it was the perfect amount for 2 adult hats. Only yarning over, the 2 times instead of the traditional 3 times. The heater kicked back on. I'm getting hot again. I'm frustrated that I didn't turn it back down. But it was chilly this morning. Go ahead and join with a slip stitch. Chain 1, again working into the 3rd loops. We're going to work a round of half double crochets on that puffy stitch. It's going to be that topmost loop to where you still have the V of your stitch. Again, that one there. No problem, Taffy. I'm happy to help. Shaw's saying, my mom taught me how to crochet, and now she says I'm better than her. Do you guys crochet just like the same amount, or I thought I had read earlier that you said you crochet like 8 hours a day. Can mom keep up? Shaw also says, I like the way 2 times looks better than 3 times. Yeah, I think it looks nice too. So this is a pretty simple, like 3 row or 3 round or 4 round repeat. It's looking like 3. Yes, Taffy, if you wanted to make for a child, start with 10, a 5.5, and 10 double crochets. If you'd like to make for an adult, start with 12 double crochets into the center. Just a very standard build up. The only thing different than what you're going to see in this repeat that we're working here, just to create the ledge up on the top and to follow the 3 pattern rule. After you get done with your increases, you'll work just a single round of half double crochets under both loops, and then work the pattern the same way that we have. All rounds will be worked into the 3rd loop. Third loop, half double crochets, and star stitches are my absolute favorite stitches to work into my designs. Has anybody started their Christmas shopping or Christmas making yet? I don't know that I'll be like doing gifts, like custom gifts for people, just because I am taking custom orders this year. And I already have like a bunch of hats and stuff if I need extra gifts. Taffy's asking, will you have this one on replay? Yes, this video will be available once it is complete. Thank you for your interest. Karen saying, you are an amazing crochet artist. I've learned so much from yourself. I need to leave you all now. Oh, boo-hoo. As I need to get my work back together for my shift tomorrow. Well, I'm so glad that you spent time with me today, Karen, and chatted with me. I hope you have a wonderful you know, a wonderful shift at work tomorrow, filled with lots of crochet when you can. Doing another round of half double crochets into the third loop. See you later, Taffy. Thanks for watching and chatting with me. Right, join with your slip stitch. Now we're going to work another round of these like bobble puff kind of stitches, or we're skipping over that first stitch, half double crocheting into the next, then working those puff stitch in the stitch that we skipped. And we will work that all the way around. Linda's asking, have you ever made fingerless gloves? I actually have. I made a pair last weekend. I've got a new friend that I've been hanging out with for probably about a month now. Her name's Bree, and I made her a hat and a matching pair of fingerless gloves. I don't think I even got a photo of the fingerless gloves before I gave them to her. I'm gonna have to ask her to snap a photo and share it with me. I've also crocheted mittens. Those were super cozy too. But my youngest lost one of them, so I'm gonna have to hook up another pair. Aw, Carolyn, thanks for the stars. So motivating to see support like that from you guys. It's been quiet in here today, so thanks for chatting with me, and thank you for the stars and the questions. Shaw is saying, could you show us the gloves? Well, I don't have the gloves anymore because I already gifted them. And I'm sure I do have some fingerless gloves that are already made, but they're out in my totes from the last craft fair that I did. Before I jump off later though, once I'm finished with this, I wanted to show you guys Craftlandia because, you know, all year I've been on a no yarn buy, and I wanted to show you the progress that I made using the fiber that I already have, you know, that I already have available to me, or had available. But my no buy is coming to an end. Black Friday, I committed to not buying any yarn until Black Friday. And I can't wait. I can't wait. Even though I still have a ton. I still have a ton of yarn here. But once the hat's done, I always like to flip the camera around and show you how the hat fits on me. Give you a little peek into Craftlandia. Which has stayed pretty cleaned and organized because I've been doing most of my crocheting upstairs. So I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing that Craftlandia is clean. I also think I might have a tutorial on fingerless gloves somewhere on my page as well. I feel like I did do, but it had to have been a couple of years if I have. Go ahead, chain one, and work a half double crochet into the third loop of each stitch. And I will definitely have to get something going for some fingerless gloves then. I bet she does love them being a delivery driver, because I think for the most part they have to leave their door pretty much open. Or is that maybe it's FedEx that I'm thinking of. I had someone reach out to me today about doing a tutorial on a flower granny square. I've got a little running list of requested tutorials, so I'm going to have to also put on fingerless gloves. Right, join with a slip stitch. We're going to do another round of half double crochets to that third loop. Alrighty, another slip stitch, chain 1, and we're going to work our final round of these half double crochet crossover puff stitches. Again, using the 3rd loop, skip your 1st stitch, half double crochet, oops, I went into, see, I tried to skip over, here's my 1st stitch, then go into your skip stitch. Linda, I bet she really does need some cozy stuff to keep her warm then. Especially if they're already getting snow. I say already, but I mean it is November. I'm shocked we haven't gotten snow here at all. The weather's been really beautiful. And really it's only been the last like probably week or so that it started getting like real cold. last half double crochet, crossover puff stitch. We want a total of 4 of those. If you like a little bit more slouch to your hat though, then I would suggest after we're going to work up 3 more rounds. We just have 3 more rounds of this hat, but if it's not quite as long as you'd like it, go ahead and add in, you know, one more round with the crossover puff stitches. So just like in our previous row, we're going to work a half double crochet into the 3rd loop all the way around. And on those crossover bobble stitches, we're using this loop right here. Split my yarn there. I keep splitting the yarn. I think I want to make a blanket in this gradient. Maybe not this color. I think there's about 8 or 9 different colors to choose from. But this is actually a very nice filling. I think this is acrylic. Yeah, it's 90% acrylic, 10% nylon. But it's a cozy fiber. I think it'd be a wonderful blanket. And I do love how gradual these color changes are happening throughout the skein. Right, we just have one more row to do before our edge. So do a half double crochet again in the third loop all the way around. Hey Kim, how are you doing today? Thanks for jumping on and chatting with me. Coming up to just the end of this tutorial, but it will be posted on my page once I'm finished. Isn't this a beautiful color? It's like a, I don't know, a maroon, almost plum, at least what it's changing into. Isn't that lovely? Oh, I'm glad to hear you're doing well. All right, let's join with a slip stitch. Here is how your hat should be looking so far. There's those 3 ridges between each of our crossover half double crochet, like bobble stitches, puff stitches, yarn eating stitches. Stretching my hands a little bit quickly before we do this border round. Look, this is the dye lot must have been off. I had 2 skeins of this, and I made this out of the first one, but look at the color difference. But like, you know, mommy and me hats. Oh wow, Kim says I've been crocheting turtleneck cowl hoodies. Oh my gosh. Sweaters and things like that, they take me forever. So I'm always making hats because I know that I know I can hook them up pretty stinking fast. It's that whole, you know, satisfaction of getting a project done. The way I hold my project always makes my seam look like it's super crooked. Try to straighten that guy out just a little bit. All right, so we've got a chain one. We've got a chain one on there. I don't like this solid white. I'm just gonna pull that out. We're gonna work a crab stitch or a reverse single crochet again into the third loops. So the reverse single crochet or the crab stitch is essentially a single crochet, but instead of working to the left, we're going to work it to the right. So be patient with yourself if you've never tried this technique before, because it can be a little bit frustrating and awkward the way that you hold your hook. But like we did with those half double crochets with a loop on your hook, you will insert your hook, go down around that third loop, bring up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both. Again, you're going to turn your hook, insert, go down with it, and drop a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. There's that third loop. Hey, Amy. So happy familiar faces are jumping on. It's towards the end of the tutorial, but it will be available on my page for you to watch whenever, whenever you have time. Did I skip that last? No. Like I said, this reverse single crochet, or sometimes called the crab stitch, can be a little awkward. Another alternative, if you're sitting trying to do this and it's getting on your nerves, you could always just work maybe a double crochet into that third loop to create a little bit of a brim. Aw, thanks, Kim. I really like the way that these crab stitch brims look as well. Different than a lot of the hats that I see. And even though I love the way that hats that have, when you alternate between front post and back post double crochets to create like a long ridge, I like the way that those look, but it always seems to put like too much pressure on my head, right? Like it bunches, makes the hat too tight, or I don't know, just a little bit uncomfortable. I guess it could be the types of fiber that's being used as well. I like the way that it looks. I don't like the way that it feels. asking, did you have fun at your last craft show and a good turnout? The turnout was okay. And it was fun. It was fun chatting with some of the locals and everything, but it just, I don't know. I haven't had the best luck with craft shows here in North Dakota, and I did make a little bit of profit. I made about $50 more than what my bottom dollar was to cover like costs, and I put some shelves together, so all of that stuff was covered by the sales. But I don't know, it was a little disheartening. I went home with way more product than I wanted to, and it was like the last 3 hours of that show there was no traffic, like none. It was pretty brutal, you know, one of those shows where you sit looking at the clock and so I don't know. It was all right, and I'm thankful for the contacts and for the people who did show up. I just don't know if craft fairs are my thing. Just about finished now. I did do a little bit of crocheting while I was there. I was working on, I think, a shawl, and I worked on a hat for a little while as well. Don't forget that last stitch. I just worked one into that last stitch. Where are my scissors? I'm gonna go ahead and fasten off. Bring that tail through, and then I always just kind of find where it's gonna look the best to pull that tail end through, and then I wrap it just one more time. My goodness. Here is the hat. My hair's wild. It's always wild. I tell you guys that. I'll flip you around so you can get, hello. Okay, what's going on with my, don't want my stand to fall over. All right. Oh, crazy hair today. That's all right. So here is the hat. Here's the hat. Let's see. Such a wonderful fit. I always think hats look a little bit better without my glasses on. So here's the fit. You can see how much slouch is in the back there. What do you guys think? There are some holes once you get it stretched out a little bit, but because it's like that puff stitch, right, that crossover puff stitch, this hat is incredibly warm. Here's the pink one on. which I like the hot pink a lot more. Same exact pattern though for this hat as the one that we just hooked up. It was the one that you guys voted on for this tutorial today, because there was like 6 different designs that I made last weekend. That election, I was like, I gotta keep my hands busy. This has me feeling stressed out. So, but that is my tutorial for the day. Thank you so much to everybody who, you know, showed up, joined in the conversation. If you hooked up one of these hats with me today, I'd love to see the colors that you picked. Maybe you used more than one color. You know, I feel like when you use the gradient yarn, I love that it changes and that I don't have extra ends to weave in. So, like I said, I'd love to see your guys' creation. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful rest of your week, and that I will be able to jump on maybe this weekend and do another tutorial with you guys. Until then, remember what you do is art, and I think you're wonderful, and just be encouraged. So have a wonderful day. Happy hooking, and I'll chat with you guys all real soon. See you later. Maybe. It's not letting me end live, so this is awkward. All right, for real now. Bye.